All right. All right, folks, it's Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. Time to get this show on the road. All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. We come to you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to talk to you about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. And when you think of living in Vegas, folks, what do you think? That's right, you think living local and the return of cool. And so I hope this is Labor Day. It's a Labor Day weekend. And hopefully you're enjoying the new backdrop. That's right, we're in our new digs here, a new studio with a kind of a neat little backdrop here, where we're kind of just celebrating the start of fall, because officially fall has already started. But here in Vegas, we don't care about that. We do things a little different. We're still at like 100 degrees. That's fine. We're good with that because it's still there's some advantages to having extreme weather like we have here in Vegas. And so we'll take our 100 degrees. It's fun. It's enjoyable. You can still go out and get a tan. Yeah, I know. Some of you are thinking, Sherm, you don't need a tan. Yes, I do. So, uh, Labor Day weekend here in Vegas, fall season is coming upon us, and it's you and I. We're together. So, I've got some exciting news to tell you. Something cool happened this weekend. A couple of things. Actually, three, four things happened. And so I want to share that with you in just a second. But before we do that, I'm going to go over to Facebook and check out our live feed on Facebook and say hello to all of our friends, because a lot of them are off right now and they're probably getting up going, hey, Sherm's on. He's on Facebook, and we want to welcome everybody who's on there. And so just say hello. Just go ahead and say hello. And if you're on Black Success Magazine, Living in Vegas, Living Weekly, that kind of stuff, and just go ahead and say hello. And I'll definitely say hello back to you if I can get over to you real quick, because we're on a lot of pages, so you actually have to kind of click through all of them to see what's to see what's going on. So we have Vegas Living Expos. We've got all kinds of stuff that's going on, and a lot of people are awake. And so, and if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast. I'm going to try to get this right on the first shot. I always miss it. I always got to go this way. Okay, so there's a little link right there. Go ahead and smash that little link right there that says subscribe to our, to be a subscriber to our page on YouTube, our channel, on YouTube. You'll be updated. And we're really pushing to get 1,000 people on that page, folks. So really, if you're watching us, or even if you're on Facebook or you're watching us on any other outlet, go over to our YouTube channel. That's Livin in Vegas Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, okay? Because if we get to a certain level, then there's certain other things we can do, okay? It's not about making money. It's really about being able to do more things on the channel, and you can only do that if you have subscribers to your channel. So, I really encourage you to do that. Some of this might be your first time watching us. I'm Sherman Ray. I'm the publisher of Livin in Vegas magazine. This is actually the last couple of weeks of Livin in Vegas magazine. So this is actually the cover of it that's on there right now. You can go to our website, livininvegas.com. It's livininvegas.com. And you can download a free copy of Livin in Vegas magazine. And we really encourage you to do that. And not only do that, but go by this guy right here. Go by his place. Go stop by his place. That's Nathan Hall, and he's over at Bad Beat Brewing Company, and he's one of our major sponsors for the show. Excuse me. We encourage you to go by Bad Beat Brewing Company over in Henderson and check him out. I mean, really, just a great guy. The place is a great vibe. Look at the magazine online at livininvegas.com, and then you'll get a preview of where you're going to go to. It's just a very, very cool place. Also, we produce another magazine. It's called Livin Weekly, and Livin Weekly is out. We actually got that up before. We got that out Thursday. We usually get it out on Fridays. We're going to actually start putting it out Mondays. Okay, I just want to let everybody, I'm giving everybody a heads up on it. We're going to be putting it out on a Monday, so it runs all week long into the weekend, and then you can check it out. That way people can have something to really look forward to on Mondays. Okay, so we'll be putting out Livin Weekly magazine starting next Monday on a Monday. Okay, so this Livin Weekly magazine right here will last all week long, like it normally does anyways. But instead of putting something out on Friday, we'll put it out on Monday, so you have it all week long. Okay, you'll have stuff to do all week long. Okay. In this particular Livin Weekly magazine, we have an article which is very, very telling about Lake Mead. Let's check it out. Great thing that we had on there about Lake Mead. So, anyways, once again, I'm checking back over on Facebook. If you're up on Facebook, do say hello. We will say hello back to you. Just give us a little shout out, and we'll say hello to you. And hopefully people are up and about. It looks like people are already up and about already, so which is cool. Thank you so much for being a part of our show. And if you like my background here, folks, if you like the background, let me know. We would love to hear your feedback on the background, because it's sometimes, we think we know what it looks like, but sometimes it turns out bad. But I'm looking on Facebook. That looks really good. I really like that. I love this. I love the new digs and stuff like that. It's just so spectacular to see stuff like that. And, we're not, yeah, there it is. Okay. Let's refresh this page. Okay. So, let's pay a bill really quick here, folks. We'll be back in just a second with more of Livin in Vegas magazine. I'm Sherman, Livin in Vegas podcast. We'll be back in just a second. Hi, everybody. It's Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Interesting. I was looking on Facebook as we were on break there to see, because we are going to be over at the Santa Fe Station. The lovely Linda and I were going to be at Santa Fe Station tomorrow for another Large Vision Business Networking Mixer Expo. So we'll be over there about 6:30. So we encourage you to go out to the Large Vision Business Networking Mixer over at the Santa Fe tomorrow about 6:30. And visit our booth and just check it out. It's free. Just go on in. As a matter of fact, we'll leave a link to that on our Facebook page, and that way you can get the ticket to get in there free. Okay, just tell them, hey, Sherman sent you over at Livin in Vegas, and you can check us out. Remember, that's tomorrow, Santa Fe Station, 6:30. It's very cool. So they actually have those every month, and we're always out there at the Santa Fe Station, which is really cool. Get to visit with some cool people that are out there. What else do we got to talk about before we get going here? I think that's pretty much it. Okay, that's it. All right, so let's talk about really what the biggest thing that happened this weekend, and I think you all know about it, folks, is that our Las Vegas Aces won this weekend. Yeah, they did. This was probably, so I went to church on Sunday, and I'll tell you a little bit about that too. And then after that, we came home to watch the Las Vegas Aces playing. And the game was already in progress when we got home, but it's all right. We had a choice. So, here's a choice. We could watch the Raiders play or watch the Aces play. All right? I love the Raiders. I do. They're the Las Vegas team now. But you all know this. I am an Aces fanatic. Okay? I'm an Aces fanatic. As a matter of fact, my wife pulled out a jersey from their first season here in Las Vegas. Yeah. We actually had a point guard. Her last name is, I forgot her name. Anderson? I think it's Anderson. We have her jersey And this is before Asia was here. This is when Liz Cambage was here, and that Bill Lambier was the head coach and stuff like that. So we go back, and I've been predicting. This was actually 2018. Yeah, 2018 is the jersey my wife has of her, and I actually have. I saw some memorabilia too from the Aces back in those days. Actually, had a hat that got so dirty that, and I wore it all the time. It's a great hat. But anyways, so we had a choice to watch the Raiders or the Aces. We said hands down Aces because they're in the championship. They're in the championship, and we know that they're going to win this year. Yes, they are. So what happened? Oh, so early on in the game, the Aces were up by 15 points. When we turned on the channel, they were up by 10. Going into the half, they were up, and then the second half was a whole different ballgame. And I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine named Marina. Marina, I know she's not going to be happy about this, but Marina jumps on Facebook while I was on there because I mentioned something about Facebook because we're really active on Twitter and stuff like that. Facebook. Marina says, "Hey, sorry, today's not going to be your day because of there's a retiring player that we don't care about her. We does." She is a retiring player for, I forgot her name, that's why I'm stalling here. Retiring player for, Bird, Sue Bird. Sue Bird is retiring, and so they're saying, well, Sue Bird plays for Seattle, she's retiring, so this year the Aces are going to lose. I go, I don't think so. We don't care if she's retiring or she just came into the league. This is our year. This is it. And so, second half, back, forth. The Seattle Storm are getting closer and closer to the Aces, and they finally actually overtook the Aces and had outscored them in the third period. And going into the fourth period, it was more of the same, back and forth. And towards the end of the game, it was so close that it was whisker close. And literally, it came down to like 0.8 seconds, or it was actually 1 point some odd seconds. Sue Bird, the Seattle Storm, was down by 2 points, or by 1 point, and it looked like that the Aces were going to win it. Sue Bird, corner 3-pointer, hits the 3-pointer. Everybody's going crazy. Yay. It looks like the Seattle Storm is going to win by 2 points because there's only like 0.8 seconds left in the game. But, and I tweeted this, folks, I said there is a reason why the number one seed, which is the Aces, is the number one seed. And these are my words, because they don't give up. They did not get to be the number one seed because they're just good-looking girls. No. They are, or just because they're talented. No. They are the number one seed because they have got what it takes to stay on top, and they're not going to lose it. 0.8 seconds to go. Guess what happens? We inbound the ball. Jackie Young gets the ball, makes the basket, ties up the game, folks. Yay! Now the crowd is going crazy. Oh, no, it wasn't, actually, because they were playing in Seattle. The crowd was hushed. Because now they know crap just hit the fan. To make a long story short, the Aces outscored the Seattle Storm. I think it was 18-6 or 14-6 or whatever it was in overtime, and we ended up winning the game. Oh yeah, we won the game 110-98 or something like that. Yeah, 110-98. We are up now in the series 2-1, and of course I was screaming and yelling. I almost lost my voice. I was screaming so bad. And, of course, I was on Twitter all over the place. So if you want to see what we do in the evenings, generally we're watching the Aces or the Aviators or some other thing that's going on in Las Vegas, and you can check it out. So it's such a cool thing to be a part of. We'll be right back. All right. In other news, folks, thank you so much for that. In other news, folks, something disturbing happened this weekend. Couple of things. We had a journalist who worked for the RJ. Gosh, this is really bad. Jeff German. He was 69 years old. He was actually found outside of his home about 10:30 in the morning on Saturday, and he had been stabbed and he died. He's uh, now the interesting thing about this, and the sad thing about it was that, I mean, even though Jeff had written a lot of stories about a lot of people, really didn't have, the animosity towards him that some people have had, some journalists have had. He was actually, I mean, he'd written some interesting. He wrote about the the shooting over at Mandalay Bay. He wrote about a few this stories, that stories, but it wasn't like the guy was, had a long list of people who hated him. So they're still investigating this, and so our hearts go out to Jeff German's family and the people he's left, his survivors. Also for the Review Journal family, who were part of his, journal family for, over a decade, and the Las Vegas Sun before that. So we'll keep finding out about what's going on with him later. In a story that I think is probably a feel good story, and I love this story because I actually was a student pilot at one time before I got in a car wreck. But there was a student pilot out in Boulder City who he and his instructor were out, and all of a sudden they lost power to their engine in their plane, and they had to actually make an emergency landing on Route 165. Oh my gosh, really? Yes, at about 8 p.m. So this is not fun stuff at all. If any of you've been on a plane, lost power, which most of us are not, and I've trained for it. I mean, I know how to land a plane if something like that happened, but learning how to do it and actually doing it are two different things. Okay, we used to practice this all the time. So, kid landed the plane safely, or I shouldn't say kid. I don't know how old the guy was, but the student pilot was able to safely land the plane. He and his instructor, after they did that, so they landed it on 165. Okay, this is crazy. It's not like they said, "Hey, let's go back to the Henderson Airport." No, they were in Boulder City, the Boulder City Airport. No, it wasn't like that. They actually had to land it on the road. So they landed on the road, and so what did they do? Hey, we better get this thing out of the way. Hey, get out. You push, I'll steer. They pushed it off the road, and I think they actually had to get it. They had to get a mechanic to come out, work on the plane, and get it operational or tow it back to the Boulder City Airport. Isn't that a feel-good story? He landed the plane safely, which is great. So that's a good story. So let's go on to another story. Oh yeah. So this week is Suicide Prevention Week. And so it's National Suicide Prevention Week. And when I saw these stories, I thought, man, this is actually kind of disturbing that the number of people who commit suicides is so high. I never realized it was this high. The High Roller at the Link and Eiffel Tower at Paris, Las Vegas, shining purple and turquoise Sunday night for National Suicide Prevention Week. So they were doing that last night. The actual Suicide Prevention Week starts this week. It's actually going to be for the entire week. So it'll go from September 4th through the 10th. And so we'll actually leave a link to this on our website over at livininvegas.com. You can actually check out all the details on how to do this. How to be a part of it. They said that worldwide there are 800,000 people who commit suicides. And there's 46,000 Americans who commit suicide. And we probably all have been impacted by this at some level. So, they said in Nevada there were 603 people who died from suicide in 2020. That's a lot. It's an average of one Nevadan who died by suicide every 14 hours. So pretty much every day there's people who are dying as a result of suicide. I know, it's a terrible story. Let's take another break, folks. I'm going to drink a little bit of coffee, wet my whistle a little bit here. And we'll be back with more of the Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray. We'll see you in just a second. Hi, everybody. It's Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you've got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, we are back, folks. This is Sherman Ray. This is the Livin in Vegas podcast. We come to you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And happy Labor Day once again to all the folks. Day to be really thankful for your jobs. Thankful for being able to get up and go to work and stuff like that. I actually got a cool call, and I was going to tell you about this earlier. Many of you know that I am now a pastor. That's right. And I've been in ministry for many years, but have never been called pastor. So you can call me Pastor Ray, or you can call me Pastor Sherman, or you can call me Ray J. No, you don't call me. Call me Sherman if you want. But I got a call from our church board, and they unanimously said, "Hey, guess what? We'd like to really put a little more meat on the bones." And so they said, "Hey, we'd like to, pay you for doing what we're doing." And I thank you. I just thank you, everybody who's a part of what we do. Get really blessed by the folks at our church. So thank you so much for that. And this Sunday, I'm actually preaching. I know I'm actually going to, and I know this is not a show about religion or anything like that. We don't want to go there with this show, but I thought I'd let you know about that. So if you would like to come out, because some people are saying, "Hey, Sherman, I'd like to come out and hear you speak more." I know, like I do enough, right? We're going to be over at the Family Worship Center, 4000 Spring Road, Las Vegas, Nevada. So we're really close to where the Texas station is, right across from Rancho from that. So you can come on out. Thought I'd tell you that. I got to really let everybody know all about that. So many of you know, in the time that we have left, we'll hit a couple of really cool stories. Over up in Mount Charleston, the lodge up top of Mount Charleston, not the retreat, which is lower Mount Charleston, over in, go up to the retreat. The lodge burnt down, 2 years ago, I think it is. And, I don't think it was 2 years ago. I think it was like last year. But either way, it's being rebuilt. And ingenious folks up there at the retreat at the lodge, decided to do something very innovative. And they call it pine dancing or dining. Pine dining. Instead of fine dining, it's pine dining. And where the lodge used to lay, they are now having a pop-up event where they invite local chefs to come up and have carte blanche. Whatever they want to do, they create a menu, and people are invited to come up there and eat. And so they did this again yesterday, and I believe they're only doing it on the weekend, so don't quote me on that, but I think they're only doing it on the weekends. But they're going to be, the Labor Day weekend lineup includes, so they're going to actually do something, so they did it already for September 3rd and 4th, which was yesterday. But they're going to be bringing back through on September 10th and 11th, which is this weekend. They're going to have Todd English of Olives, the Pepper Club, and the Beast will close out the Cookout series on September 10th and 11th. So it's only on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, which is going to be cool. So you can actually, if you want to go up there, folks, which is cool, the Ellis family, which owns Ellis Island, here locally, own the lodge up there, and they're saying, "Hey, this has just been a fun time. It's really been a fun time to get people to come out come up to the Mount Charleston Lodge area, and it's fun. It's just my wife and I used to have an account with the retreat, which is just down the street from the lodge. It's just not higher up in the mountain. So I used to drive up there all the time, to deliver coffee to them because we had a restaurant that specialized in coffee. So I got to drive up to the retreat all the time. Every week I was up there. And I know people thought, oh, Sherman, you have to drive all the way up there. I go, no, I get to drive up there, and just fun drive. It clears your head. You go up to the mountains and you get to see the grass. You get to see the trees. You get to see burros and all kinds of flora and fauna. It was just a fantastic time. So please don't feel sorry for me that I got to drive up to the retreat on a weekly basis. It was fantastic. And you have that same opportunity on the weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, to go up there to this pop-up event called Pine Dining. So once again, Todd English is going to be up there of Olives. He's just a great chef. The Pepper Club and the Beast will close out their event on 10th and 11th. And so you can actually check that out. Are we done? Oh, gosh. Let's give you one more story. One more story before we have to end. So there's been a moose sighting. A moose sighting in Reno. I know, this is actually kind of fun. So I guess in the last 50 years, a number of moose have been sighted up in the Reno area. Now they're coming down from Idaho, Utah, that kind of stuff. And people thought, just a couple of moose. Well, what started out as just a few moose have now become 30, 50, 100 moose have been sighted up in the Reno area. That's a lot of mooses. I don't know if there's a plural for moose. Is there a plural for moose? Mises? I don't know if it's mises, but we ought to look that up. So, they said now the number is total is well over 100 moose, and wildlife officials say it's the first time a big game species has made a comeback in Nevada without a concentrated relocation effort. So that's pretty amazing that they just said, hey, look, we just like it better in Vegas. But everybody don't they? Yes, of course they do. Everybody loves it here in Vegas. So that's kind of a neat thing to see that you got a bunch of mises. How about jackalopes? Where are the jackalopes? That's what I want to see. Where are the jackalopes? And so that's a pretty cool thing. So if you want to see a moose, and we all do, of course, right? I don't know. I don't know if I want to see a moose because they're big. As far as I know, mooses are huge. This area right here, they would cover this entire area with just their nose. It's just a big animal. Do I have time for? I actually have time for one more. Okay, so our aviators, folks. I'll go with one more sports thing. I won't say the aviators because the aviators have just been doing this the last couple of weeks. Oh my gosh, they're just killing themselves. So pray for the aviators. I mean, really do pray for them because the aviators are having a tough time. I would assume that the record has just fallen precipitously. I keep track of their box scores every single day, and it's just like, oh my gosh, what is going on with these guys? It's like it's a whole different team. So, but the Rebels, the Lady Rebels, our women's volleyball team, they're on a tear. They're doing great. They beat St. John's this weekend, which is great. I think they actually lost the second game. Let me double check here. Yeah. So they won in volleyball. I think they actually lost in. So I won't quote that because if I screw it up, somebody will be upset about it. Yeah, I think we lost to Miami, Florida. But what day was that? Yeah, we lost to Miami, Florida on Sunday. Okay, so but we had a great we had a great weekend, though. I mean, we had a great weekend. So the girls are doing fantastic. We are now 5-1 for it. I still have very high hopes for the Lady Rebels volleyball team, so you can actually check them out. Anyways, folks, have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. I really hope you do, because I know I am. I'm going to relax a little bit and get ready for a fantastic weekend. Okay, so we'll see you again Wednesday for more of Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray, where we'll talk about the people, the places, the trends, and events that shape the city of Las Vegas. When you think of living in Vegas, folks, think living local and the return of cool. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.